Hey YouTube, Herbal Prepper here. Today I wanted to kind of quickly go over some stuff. I'm going to try to get through this as quickly as possible. It's very difficult to dig into this as deep as I want to dig into it. I have hours upon hours of research on this, and I want to tell each and every one of you everything that I have, notebooks full of stuff, print-offs, stuff in my memory, things out of Scripture. You know, I want to tell as much as I possibly can tell, but I do want to get this out as quickly as possible and get the baseline filled for certain people. I have had some feedback and people are very interested in what I have to say, and that's great. And I don't want any of you to take my word for it. I want you to compare everything I say against Scripture, because that is the only way you can ensure that you're not hearing false doctrine. But keep in mind that Scripture also states that people will not want to hear sound doctrine. So I want you to look at this with a non-biased mind. I want you to literally compare science with what Scripture says and see how they mesh together. To see how they are so astounding, to see how we use science as a way to explain the things He does, that our Creator can do, has done, and will continue to do, using natural things that we can see, physically touch, and prove with science. Because keep in mind, we developed science, we called it science in order to explain things that we could not understand. Air, you can't see air, but you breathe it. You know that it's made around you, okay? With that being said, I want to go ahead and kind of start into some stuff. And again, I'm going to try to keep this as quick as possible. Okay? So, I've already stated that I think March will be the collapse. Okay? I'm not telling you I know how the collapse is going to go. I'm going to quickly go over what I think could happen, and I have in the past, but I want to do it again. Okay? You may wake up one morning, try to access your account from your computer, iPhone, whatever, and you can't. The bank is down, doing some kind of fixing, re-updating, whatever. Check back with us Monday. Okay. Let me also state that there was a thing on YouTube. Don't know how much validity it holds. It might not be anything, but a reporter said that's your 72-hour notice for something big, like martial law or something. Okay, so I don't know. You kind of look at that and develop your own opinion. But that could happen, and you could not be able to get anything out of your bank. Also, you could go to the bank, and the bank could be closed. And it's a business day, and you not understand why. Or they could simply say, the dollar has fallen so badly, it's so damaged that we can't fix it, which it was set up this way. My belief, many others too. And now we're going to have to put in something else to fix that. And so that might be this new currency, okay? And they're going to say, in order for you to get back something, you need to take your dollars to the bank or wherever, and they might list locations. The 90% of banks might be closed, but 10% of them might be open. I don't know. You're going to take your money, cash in all your money, and let's say you've got $10,000 in the bank in savings, and they're going to give you back, $1,000 of the new dollars or the new money, currency, whatever. I don't know. But that seems very plausible, along with the fact that you would just go to the bank and it would be like Cyprus was about a year ago, where you just could not access your account. Everything was frozen. People could not get into their savings. They couldn't get into their checking, and they could not get into their lock boxes. Okay, so I do recommend you getting anything precious out. If you have precious metals, if you have stuff from your grandparents, get it out. Stick it underneath your bed. Wherever you store your guns, that's where your precious stuff needs to be, because guns are always something that we use to protect ourselves. Okay, so with that being said, you very well may wake up in March and everything is fine. Or it may take a couple months, or it may take, I don't know, okay? But I do feel very, very strongly that something big is coming in March and April. Okay, so let's say you wake up and you can't access your account. That's probably going to freak people out. And I don't just mean Regions or Wells Fargo or whatever. You can't access your account. Hey, what's wrong? I mean all banks for some reason. You can't. You've got people on your networking site saying, yeah, my bank's down too. I don't know what it is. That's a sign. That's something big has happened. That's probably the collapse, okay? I don't know how an engineered collapse is going to work. I don't think anybody other than the elites and the ones who engineer it know exactly what's going to happen, because people are unpredictable. People have free will. I may say, oh, I'm going to scream my head off and run around like a chicken with my head cut off, okay? And then other people might say, I'm just going to stay calm. I've got food here. I'm fine. I don't need money. I don't need to go, whatever. So people are unpredictable, okay? But let's say I do believe that it's going to be something that's not going to be that drastic, that's going to issue in martial law because people are going to be going crazy, because Scripture states in that after the collapse, people are still working because a man's wages for one day is only going to pay for his food for one day. Okay, so we know that people are still working. Okay, so it's not something that literally everything just falls apart and it's complete and total, no law. I don't think it's going to be like that. But I'm not going to say that there's not probably going to be an exchange. You might have to take your money in and exchange it. I hope that if that happens, that those who maybe can't pay their bills aren't thrown into a FEMA camp, aren't thrown for because they're starting to talk about a debtor's prison, meaning those people who can't pay their debts are now going to just go to prison. The president can hold you indefinitely without any real reason, so keep that in mind. We know that there's possibly about 600 to 800 FEMA camps all over the place, so I think you can Google that, maybe look that up. You don't think FEMA camps exist, whatever, that's on you. I 100% believe they do, okay? So, let's say, you turn in your money, you don't get enough back, therefore, and this is your savings, this is what you've saved up. And now, for some reason, because you're working and your employers went and turned in all his money and got back this, and the whole economy screwed up, and so now you're working all day long to get this new currency that's worth crap. Nothing. It's not worth anything. So you work all day long to only make enough money to go to the grocery store to pay for the food for you and only you for one day. Sounds exactly like what Scripture stated, okay? So that's when people are going to go crazy. People are going to default on loans, and then those people will probably be put in FEMA camps. So I believe that will happen, or something similar to that will slowly start to happen in March. Now, right after, I believe will be a war in April at the first blood moon, which is, let me just make sure I have this correct, so I don't want to say, okay, April 15th of 2014, okay, and it's on Passover, of course, like all the other ones. Now, I have been watching the news. I don't watch the news because I think I'm going to get any real truth from them, because they're very biased. All the newspapers, all the news media outlets and everything are owned by like 3 companies in the world. Okay, so do you really think that you're going to get valuable, real information from them? No, that's why there's alternative medias, and even they're sketchy. But I do watch them because I know Satan has to and has always and will tell what he's going to do before he does it. Just like 9/11, there was a lot of stuff in movies and cartoons and whatnot about 9/11 before it happened. People didn't catch it. Now that it's happened, we're like, hey, that looks eerily similar to what happened on 9/11, okay? So that's exactly what's going to happen. So I watch the media and I wait for them to tell me things. And one of the things that they have said is in, let me see, July 2013, Kerry stated that within 9 months they wanted some type of peace treaty agreement with Iran, and we know we've had issues with them. And so if you count from July, let me see, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. Okay? That's not it. That's not it, okay? So now once you have that, you've just had have to sit there and calculate that stuff and write it down. You might forget about it, but when they throw out dates like this or numbers, it's very important because Satan works off of numbers, and that's how you can usually find how the Illuminati or whatever you want to call them works. Okay, November 24th, I believe, 2013. Obama had stated that the U.S. had become in agreement with Iran to have, to slack off for 6 months, at least for 6 months. Their nuclear program, meaning they would destroy some, and they would stop building some, and they would stop looking into the research and developing, and he said, I don't want to quote him because I don't want to quote wrong, but I believe he stated that after 6 months, if Iran was not serious about it, that the U.S. would press the matter. Okay, there is something you need to listen to. 6 months from November, December, if you want to count November, December, January, February, March, April. There's again. So in July it was 9 months, and now in November it's 6 months. Either way, it brings you back to April. Okay, so we know. So if you count from the 24th, which that brings you to let me see, April 24th, which is just like 9 days after the first blood moon. Okay, I'm trying to remember all these numbers without having to look at all my research. I have tons of these books that I have wrote down, but stuff wrote down in. Okay, so keep that stuff in mind because that can be clues to what's going to happen. So I'm going to summarize everything that I've kind of said. One, not sure exactly how the collapse is going to happen, but I fully believe that it's going to start happening or happen in March of 2014. Excuse me. Right after will be a war, okay? And I don't believe, see, when they said in 9 months we're going to have this peace treaty thing worked out and everything's going to be great and gravy, and it's not going to work out like that. We're going to go to war in April, okay? It's not going to be peace and Iran is giving in and the U.S. is not going to press the matter. No, it's going to be, we're going to war. This is what it is. Bombs, nuclear, and that's terrible, but it could happen and probably will happen. So keep that in mind. Also, I want you to keep in mind that there has been the bubonic plague that has kind of broke out. There's mysterious illnesses all over the United States, in Alabama, Mississippi, I think Louisiana, Texas. People are dying from mysterious illness is what the media is calling it. Also, we've got bald eagles dropping out of the sky. We've got, animals dying, things beaching themselves because probably all the radiation and the oil, and all of this is Scripture being fulfilled, okay? So, I hope this helps explain some things to you. I'm going to continue to try to do these little videos where I just kind of sit and chat with you guys, and if you have any questions, please message me or comment. Let me know what you guys think because I can't do this alone, and I know this is important, and I feel I need to get it out as quickly as possible. So I hope you guys have a blessed day. Thanks.